And breaking news tonight, the deadly siege on Congress as an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol. We've seen shocking images of chaos, rioters rushing past barricades and police up the Capitol steps, forcing their way inside. Both the House and the Senate evacuated. Lawmakers moved to safe locations. The invaders roaming the abandoned Senate floor, one hanging from the balcony.
Tonight, protests erupt in Portland. Clashes between right-wing agitators and left-wing anti-fascists spilled out onto the streets.
And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. The results tonight have been phenomenal.
Folks, the people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory, a convincing victory, a victory for we the people. We've won with the most votes ever cast for a presidential ticket in the history of the nation. 74 million.
Show me which constellations you're in.
I don't know.
Show me which ones you know.
Okay.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like if I can guarantee Henry would be okay. I'd hope you get an illness and then get hit by a car and die.
Now, you're probably wondering, how does all this come together? Capitol riots, the Proud Boys, Antifa, Trump, Biden, Eternal Sunshine and Marriage Story. The answer? David Hume, and more specifically, his ideas of emotions, reason, and human beings' personal identities. Hume was a product of the Scottish Enlightenment, as well as a skeptic, which is important to remember. Skeptics question the value of conventional knowledge. According to Hume, the collective value of logic, reason, and knowledge as a whole is limited. In his first book, A Treatise of Human Nature, Hume wrote, quote, "Reason is, and not only to be, the slave of the passions, and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them." End quote. For Hume, the passions, or emotions, ruled over logic and reason. He believed humans, by nature, are irrational beings. We act on emotion, what feels correct, rather than what is proven to be correct, and it works more times than not. In terms of survival, actions and ideas' usefulness outweighs their truth. Hume's contemporaries often use reason, logical proofs and arguments, to prove the existence of a higher power. However, according to Hume, some views, including religious beliefs, cannot be rationalized. He believed individuals were incapable of logic-based faith. One could not prove or disprove the existence of a higher power. Subsequently, Hume was an advocate for religious freedoms. According to Hume, individuals' personal identities are delusions. If you remember, we covered John Locke's ideas on the subject. He believed individuals' identities are composed of a consecutive sequence of memories. For example, if we can't remember what we had for dinner last night, but we can remember what we had for breakfast and each experience thereafter, we are the same person who ate said breakfast. Hume, on the other hand, rejected notions of individuals' personal identities. He believed it was impossible for human beings to separate experiences, which are directed by emotion, of course, from reality. If we recall our past experiences, we cannot separate ourselves, us, from life's events. While we each have our own subjective perceptions of experiences, we cannot conceptualize our essence, what we are at our core. So, to encapsulate Hume's ideas on personal identity, here's another quote from his first book, A Treatise of Human Nature. Quote, "The identity which we ascribe to the mind of man is only a fictitious one, and of a like kind with that which we ascribe to vegetables and animal bodies. It cannot, therefore, have a different origin, but must proceed from a like operation of the imagination upon like subjects." End quote. Hume's ideas, the value of emotion, the limits of reason, and the illusion of personal identities culminate in his views on education and the proper life. Hume believed individuals, children specifically, should, above all else, be taught common sense values. Hume was a man of the world, and he believed it was crucial for individuals to be sociable. People should be pleasurable to be around. Hume's ideas subvert traditional conceptions of philosophers, individuals alone in a room, hunched over a desk, deep in thought. One quote from Hume's An Inquiry Concerning Human Understanding encapsulates his views on education. He writes, quote, "The sweetest and most inoffensive path of life leads through the avenues of science and learning, and whoever can either remove any obstructions in this way or open up any new prospect ought so far to be esteemed a benefactor to mankind." End quote. For Hume, morals and common sense offered another path in education, one which provided individuals skills for the real world and everyday activity. In conclusion, I think another quote from Hume's An Inquiry Concerning Human Understanding summarizes his views. He wrote, quote, "Be a philosopher, but amidst all your philosophy, be still a man." End quote.